For more on the manhunt fanning out across Belgium, we turn now to Mike Baker, who is a former CIA covert operations officer and the president of Diligence LLC, a global intelligence and security firm. He joins us now by phone. So, Mike, given your expertise, what you've seen, how do authorities at this point go about finding that suspect, the man that we've been showing our viewers, the guy in the white jacket and the hat? Where do they start?
Well, part of this is they may well have already had a lead on him. I mean, frankly, the Belgian authorities were desperately racing around to pick up additional suspects in the wake of the arrest of Saleh of Islam. So they may have already got some inkling of who this third person might be. But regardless, they're busy with the DNA testing, obviously, with the identification of the suicide bombers. They're busy with reviewing CCTV footage. They're busy with communications intercepts and looking at what they can pick up from the comms. So this is, unfortunately, the Belgian authorities, French authorities, U.S., U.K., we're all very well familiar with the process that needs to be done here. And it's an investigative process that follows certain procedures. I suspect they're going to identify this individual and probably apprehend him in the not-too-distant future. I don't think they're going to have another situation like they did with Saleh.
Mike, we heard from Hillary Clinton earlier today on CBS this morning say that she thought that this was a failure of intelligence gathering on the part of Belgian authorities. We were just joined by another journalist who echoed that sentiment, that authorities in Belgium and in Brussels specifically have just been stretched too thin. They have been stretched to their breaking point. What's your sense of the investigative capabilities of authorities there?
Well, look, they're very good. The old chestnut of the intelligence failure gets rolled out every time there's an attack. I mean, it's like the swallows at Capistrano. Could you do things better from an investigative standpoint? And could you? Yeah, of course you can. But they were working on this. I mean, look, they just picked up Saleh, right? And you could say, well, but he was close to his family home. Well, yes, but he was also being hidden by a community of family and friends who went to great lengths to keep his location hidden. So this is a very, very difficult lift, but I'm not one of those people that immediately knee-jerk goes to intelligence failure after an attack. It's sometimes amazing that we don't have more attacks, and there's a great deal of work that goes on behind the radar or off the radar that people don't see, and operations that get minimized or prevented, disrupted, that people are completely unaware of. But again, it's sort of that old, standby. It's an intelligence failure. I mean, look, the Belgian authorities are very good at investigations, but they are facing a problem created in part by, sort of the policies of Belgium and France and others over the years that have allowed for these sort of isolated, large communities of now disaffected youth, in particular, young males who don't feel part of that society, because for years Belgium and France and others have celebrated sort of the individual cultures, said you don't necessarily have to assimilate. Celebrate the fact that you're from Algeria or Yemen or Pakistan, wherever it may be. And that's coming back now to roost.
To hear that there could have been some, I guess, aversion or an ability to stop some of the things that we might have heard out. We've also heard from other experts who've been saying Brussels was never very good at sharing information. When you look at those two comments side by side, they never really were the best at sharing information, and that they were perhaps allowing these refugees the ability to harbor this sort of hatred. What could have been done differently? I mean, I know it's obviously too late, but what stands out to you in the narrative of what has happened that could have been different?
Yeah, again, going back to sort of the first statement about Belgian authorities aren't good at sharing information. I don't know what those individuals who made that statement, what their personal experience was then, but my experience, over the years, and this is that, look, they do what every liaison service does. They share as much as they feel they can, just like we do. And the process, integrating, operational leads and information between all the various services over there in the EU, it's not perfect, and it never will be, because it's a human endeavor and there's individual territorial concerns, but it's much, much better than it has been. So I push back a little bit on that statement. So, ultimately, I think what has to happen is that we have to continue doing the things that we're doing. Well, part of this problem is the hub, the caliphate. And the success that they've had in recruiting and
Will it happen much more time? Will it happen much more time?
It would appear we have lost Mike Baker, again, the director of Diligence LLC, speaking about the security oversights and now the challenges faced by Belgian authorities as they seek the third suspect, again, who we believe left an explosive device behind at another location in Brussels. That device later discovered and safely detonated by Belgian authorities. However, the man you see there on the far right of your screen in the beige jacket, still on the loose. Again, we thank Mike Baker for joining us.